So I'm pleased once again to introduce our speaker, Tony Vandenbos. Tony is the Preservation Manager for Wright State University's Special Collections and Archives. Tony works directly with the Inland Children's Chorus, and I called her the curator of the Inland Children's Chorus collection, and I think she deserves that, and so forth. Many of you know that the actor Tom Hanks was in Dayton to dedicate Wright State Center for Motion Pictures. But Tony wrote me recently that Mr. Hanks also bought the rights to historian David McCullough's book on the Wright brothers in order to produce a mini-series. She said that they both would be visiting special collections the week before this luncheon. So I'm especially glad that Tony's taken time out of what must have been a busy, hectic, and very exciting week to spend it with just us. Isn't that great? Thank you, Tony, and thanks for taking such good care of the Inland Children's Chorus collection.
My pleasure. Thank you so much, Jerry. This is an event I look forward to every year. And can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, good. Well, happy anniversary, Inland Children's Chorus. 2016 marks 80 years since the chorus was founded in 1936, and while the chorus officially dissolved in 1970, its legacy continues as witnessed in this room and through the incredible collection you, under the coordination of Jerry Allred, have brought together for the legacy to continue at inlandchorus.com and in the archives at Wright State University. Thank you. Thank you for having me here to join this celebration and specifically to talk about the relationship between the Inland Children's Chorus Collection and Special Collections and Archives at Wright State University Libraries. At the Archives, we are proud to be the home of Inland Chorus's records and memorabilia, saved and donated by you and your fellow chorus members. Through our work with Jerry Allred, we aim not only to preserve but to promote the collection's historical research value and its importance to Dayton's cultural identity. Today, I'll briefly acquaint you with the archives, or for those of you who have visited or heard me talk before, reacquaint you with the archives and the type of historical materials we collect. I'll also share some information on how we preserve and care for the collections, and very importantly, how we let the public know that the materials are available to see and learn from firsthand. This is a screenshot of mementos taken straight from inlandchorus.com. The chorus collection is unique among the others in the archives for many reasons. To date, it is made up of materials from 50 individual members of the chorus, many of whom are here today. As I look at the memorabilia, hair ribbons, certificates of achievement, photographs, scrapbooks, news clippings, and concert programs, I imagine the hands of youth from 1936 to 1970, from ages 8 to 16, tucking these items away at home, prized possessions that told a part of that child's story and which would travel with them through life. Yet these documents and mementos would eventually be reunited with other documents and artifacts decades later to tell the larger history of an organization that affected hundreds of lives by investing in the talents of youth. Last year, when I showed these two portraits, there was quite a reaction. These two men, of course, led the chorus during its 34 years. First, Richard Westbrook, who founded the chorus and directed it until 1955, and then Joseph Geiger, who assumed the reins after Mr. Westbrook's passing. I'm certain that you all have vivid memories of one or both of these men, some of which I have had the delight in hearing. Please contribute those memories to the forum page on inlandchorus.com. And also, after my talk and remarks today, I'd love to hear more of them, and we'll open up the microphone and preserve this history further. They are important to the history and emphasizing the impact of the chorus and the forum as part of the archival collection that is preserved. Here is one of the items in the archival collection and on the website, the Sunday Journal Herald Spotlight from December 10th, 1944, donated by Shirley Whiting. The original negatives to some of these photographs are in the James Keene Photographic Collection, which came to the archives after the Inland Chorus collection. I highlighted this photograph last year, but I cannot resist doing so again. This is one of the photographs taken by James Keene for that Spotlight article. This photo was donated by Mary Westbrook Lubinski. Marilyn Engel is carrying the songbooks after rehearsal, and the back of the photograph notes that Marilyn's brother Richard and sister Barbara were also in the chorus at that time. And their mother, Haley Engel, had been a 7 to 3 shift employee at Inland since July 1942. This is the back of a concert program from December 1944, providing some great publicity for the chorus, but also valuable historical information. In one of the photos, Inland executives helped prepare the children to go on stage. Below that, it states and shows that many siblings were in the chorus. Further, we learn that the nurse from Inland's medical department was on hand at all the concerts and rehearsals, at least in 1944. Here we go. This is a 1938 clipping donated by Thomas Kinnair, who is pictured second from the right. This was just 2 years after the founding of the chorus, and in that short time, the article states that the chorus has come to be recognized as one of the outstanding groups of its kind in the United States. High praise indeed, and from listening to the recordings, well deserved. If you have been to inlandchorus.com, you instantly recognize the homepage here. All of the donated materials are first collected by Jerry Allred. Jerry scans, describes, and organizes each donated item from inlandchorus.com for the inlandchorus.com website. He has enlisted the help of some generous professionals in this effort. Bill Howe, audio and restoration expert in Grafton, Wisconsin, has given his time and expertise in digitizing the numerous audio recordings in the collection. And Richard Hay, owner of the web hosting company 26 Design, hosts inlandchorus.com and provides the archives with the website files, which we preserve as part of the collection. Another member of that team is Peter Wine, who has been photographing and videotaping these luncheons multiple years, and those images are also part of the collection. We are grateful for the contributions of Richard Hayes, Bill Howe, and Peter Wine, and enjoy the opportunity to be working together on this project. Digitizing the memorabilia, archival documents, and the sound recordings in order to share the chorus's history is invaluable. Former chorus members, scholars, musicians, historians, students, Ohioans, anyone can access and experience the history instantly on inlandchorus.com. But Jerry Allred also knows the value of the original documents. In fact, after scanning the original items, the items that were there, Jerry houses each item in supportive archival enclosures, labels each with the name of the donor and a description. You can see the care taken with the items he has placed on display here today. Jerry is truly a natural-born archivist. When he started this project, Jerry inquired in the archival community where the best home for the collection would be, a home where the materials would be preserved and made available to the public. He met with Wright State, and in 2010, the deed of gift was signed at an event on campus and for Inland Children's Chorus members. Each year, the number at the spring luncheon has grown, and unfortunately, so does this collection. On the Monday following this luncheon, just as he and his wife Janice have done since 2010, Jerry is delivering additional items to the archives, adding it to the Inland Children's Chorus collection. This year, the addition is in the form of 269 audio files from 52 records. He and Bill Howe have evaluated between 2,500 and 3,000 files over the last 6 years to determine the highest quality recordings for the website and for preservation in the archives. The original record albums will also continue to be preserved in the archives. Once the archives receive the original materials and electronic files from Jerry, we process them. Processing is a term archivists use to describe the work of arranging the collection, performing basic preservation work such as placing the records into acid-free folders and boxes, and describing the materials in a finding aid. In the case of Inland Chorus, much of this work is already done for us due to Jerry's close attention to detail and care of the items. Here you see a few of our public history graduate students processing. Public history is a concentration within the history master's degree program at Wright State, and most of the archivists on staff are adjunct professors for those courses. We are very proud of the graduates from the program who are now archivists literally all over the world. And here is the Inland Children's Chorus collection in its archival housing and ready for researchers. During processing, a finding aid to the collection is written. It contains a history of the organization, a scope and content note explaining how the collection is organized and what it documents, and a box and folder inventory of the contents. All of the finding aids to collections are available on the archives website, which you see here. Our website has a different look than it did last year. Here you can find information about the archives, browse collections by subject or title, or search for the finding aids to a specific collection. As you see, I've done here for Inland Children's Chorus. It's just in this box right here, but you can also go under Research Collection Guides and browse through Arts Collection, which is under Inland Children's is under. You can also submit a reference request through a web form, or just find the phone number on the bottom of the page and call us up. Search the indexes to naturalization records, see a list of all our local government records by county, view digitized items from collections. You can even find out our latest news and interesting finds through the blogs. In addition to the finding aid, a catalog record is created for each collection to make it more discoverable. We catalog each collection in the archive similar to how a book is cataloged. That way, if a student or researcher is searching for a relevant topic, their results can also include archival materials. For those who wouldn't know how to search our library's catalog or that it was available for a certain collection, web search engines such as Google will pull up the finding aids. Here are Google's results for Inland Children's Chorus. Pages from inlandchorus.com are the top 3 hits, followed by the finding aid to the collection at Wright State. Just how it should be. The catalog records and online finding aids are imperative to letting researchers know what collections are available, but we can always do more. There are many opportunities to promote the collections through outreach activities. We give tours of the archives and presentations to all ages about what we do, and we show them the collections in the archives. We go into elementary and middle and high schools to teach how to find and evaluate primary sources. We work with professors on campus and host classes from other campuses to incorporate primary sources into their assignments. We go out to organizations and talk about how to preserve their own archives. We do many exhibits both in-house and on the road. And yes, we tweet and have a Facebook page and post on blogs to promote the collections and spark interest in university, local, and aviation history. Our goal is to connect people with these wonderful historical collections. We are excited for people to come and experience the history for themselves. Special Collections and Archives focuses on a few different collecting areas, and that includes the history of Wright State University. We are an institutional archive. The history of aviation, and in particular the legacy of the Wright brothers, for which the university is named. When you visit our reading room, you will see an original Wright brothers propeller and a selection of the medals the Wright brothers were awarded in 1909, including the Congressional Gold Medals and French Legion of Honor medals. About 2,000 photographs in the collection are available online to browse through our website. We have them on a selection of them on display in the reading room. The collection draws a lot of attention from around the world, which helps us to promote the availability of all the collections in the archives. This past Tuesday, historian and author David McCullough, who did extensive research in the special collections and archives for his best-selling book on the Wright brothers, and Tom Hanks, who recently bought the rights to McCullough's book to make a miniseries of it on HBO, visited Wright State, including the archives. All of this attention helps generate interest in history and hopefully encourage others to come in and use the wide scope of rich collections in the archives. We have many other aviation collections, and here are just a few great stories. The Corn brothers on the left were flying the skies of Shelby County, where their farm was located in 1912. Neil Loving in the center was a local man who was known for his airplane designs, especially the Loving's Love, his midget racer, which is shown here. His story is inspirational. He lost both his legs in a terrible airplane crash he was piloting in 1944. He overcame the disability and became revered for breaking barriers for African Americans in aviation. On the right, you can see a few images from the Waco Aircraft Company's photographic collection, which contains images of almost all the airplanes they built in Troy, Ohio from 1923 through World War II. These airplanes were purchased and delivered all over the world. The Archives is also a member of the Ohio Network of American History Research Centers and the official repository and archives for local government records for our 11-county area. And those counties are listed up there. We have many county, township, and municipality records that attract genealogists. These records include the census, naturalization records, birth, death, and marriage records, and much, much more. If you are interested in doing family history, we have lots of sources that may help. We collect the rich local and regional history of the Miami Valley across many subject areas. Some of the subjects covered are the 1913 flood, business and industry, civic organizations, Civil War diaries and letters, education in local schools, and family and personal papers. And often potential donors of family papers or personal papers do not think that their history is important. It is important. Every collection in the archives is not from a well-known person, family, company, or organization. We have family records spanning generations which document social life, responses to national and local events, and issues, customs, and traditions. We want to document life in the Miami Valley in all aspects, across social conditions, ethnicity, economic status, gender, religion, talents, etc. Other local subject areas include local sports, politics, railroad and transportation, and veteran experiences, just to name a few. A lot. One of the significant subject areas documented in the archives is the arts, which are an integral part of our identity as a community. The Inland Children's Chorus has significant ties to these and other collections. The records of the Dayton Philharmonic Orchestra and the personal papers of the founder and longtime director of the DPO, Paul Katz, are available in the archives. In this collection, you are sure to find programs from the performances with Inland Children's Chorus. You can see some of the other music collections include Chamber Music, Yellow Springs, American Guild Organist, Dayton Chapter, Kettering Children's Choir, which came in after Inland Children's Chorus, and just processed the Opera Guild of Dayton. In 2009, the Dayton Daily News Archive was deeded to Special Collections and Archives, which added over 2,000 linear feet to our holdings. The Dayton Daily News collection contains photographs and clippings on just about any person, place, or event in the area during the mid to late 20th century. I want to end by extending a warm invitation to visit the archive. We invite you, your friends and family, to visit us and see the Inland Children's Chorus collection and explore more of the history available. We are open Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5, and I have a stack of brochures over on that little table over there about the archives, and a handout with directions and parking information and contact information for those who are interested. Feel free to take more than one to give to family or friends. You can always call us up, and we will be glad to answer any questions, give you any information that you need. And I hope that you will all come out and see the original materials that you have brought together in the Inland Children's Chorus collection. A big thank you to Jerry, Allred, and Janice for initiating this project, organizing these events, and bringing you all together, and in so doing, making sure that the history of the chorus is available to everyone now and in the future. Thank you for inviting me to be a part of this very special day. Now, I would love to invite you to come up and share your memories of being in the chorus. This is on video and is part of the archival collection, and it truly serves as an oral history that is preserved. And it's also just a delight for us to be able to experience as well. So please don't be shy and come on up and share your memories with us.
Hi, I'm Mary. During the late 60s when I was in the chorus, we was told that we would be singing on the Paul Dixon show. And there was a number of us chosen, and I was excited because we was going to meet these interesting people. So we went to the studio and found that we was going to be taped. And so there wasn't no Paul Dixon or Marion Spellman or Colleen Sharp. So the program was taped, and then it was later shown on their program, which I believe shared, that came on about 10 o'clock in the morning, but we never saw the program. And hopefully, maybe somebody could find this and add it to the Inland Children's Chorus collection. Thank you.
My name is Story, Sharon Story. I am on several of the covers. I'm on the back of one of them, combing my hair. I had long black hair. And I'm on the front of the next one, and I was the bride of, I think it was 1963. And I wore Joe Bagger's daughter's wedding dress. Oh, and I really enjoyed doing that. Thank you.
I guess since I'm the senior member here today, since Phyllis Denley didn't show up. Oh, there she is. Oh, well, you ought to be up here telling stories. Well, anyhow, we go back a long way, and we were in that one picture that had Angela May, Phyllis, myself, the Richard, Paulie girl, the Richard girl. I can't remember what her first name was. And which Tunney was that? Jim?
Oh.
I thought it was Jim Tunney that was in there too. But, you know, we moved around in the course of about 10 years there. Started out at the started out at the Dayton Industries building, which is now the city building, down at the corner of 3rd and Ludlow. And that was, prior to that, it was the YMCA. And so we used to go up, I think it was the third floor of that building, and there was a swimming pool up there also. But then we went from there to the Loretto, and then from the Loretto to the Young Women's Club on 4th Street. And I think then they went back to the Loretto, didn't they, after that? So we really got around quite a bit. And the one Christmas program that I can remember was in 41, and we performed on the stage at the Art Institute. And this was a world or nationwide hookup through WLW in Cincinnati. And after the intermission, we came back on stage, and my kid brother started with hiccups. And Dick Westbrook just about went ballistic. And he said, "Get off the stage, get off the stage." And so poor Tim had to slink his way off to the side. I don't think he ever got over that. And I don't think Dick ever got over that either. But there are a lot of good memories and a lot of things that, you know, you treasure over the lifetime. So as the next senior member, why, I'm glad to be able to take this time to be with you.
I'm John Clisson, 1946 to June of 1950. So many great memories, I'll try to keep it short. I'd like to pay a little tribute to my Aunt Marcella Sprauer, who was J.D. O'Brien's secretary, and who did a lot of work with the girls before the performances. But mostly I'm interested in some of the great soloists that we had in my era. I think of Joyce Albrecht, Patty Kreitzer, Eileen Slattery, and the male soprano soloist Dave Credonier, who Dick Westrock once said when he sang the Ave Maria, one person told him you could hear the Blessed Virgin singing. The best of the lot, the most famous for us, was Joyce Albrecht. Very pretty girl, went to Fairmont High School. She became Joy Clements for the Metropolitan Opera. And you can still find on YouTube, I think, Eric Goldman's The Tenderland, in which she was a soloist in that company. She went down to Miami University, Coral Gables, and met her husband there as a singer, went on to the Met. It was a great joy to watch these kids come on and develop, and it was just a remarkable thing for us all. I remember the Loretto mostly. I remember going down after school with Chaminade and setting up a couple hundred chairs, helping out, getting paid $5 to do that. Remember a lot of things. The boss was remarkable. Two great teachers I had in my life. He was one of the two. Everything was disciplined, and how he handled all these kids. Okay, 200 maybe, before he made the cuts, and kept them all in line. And these are like middle school kids. I mean, the potential for rebellion and mayhem is great. Ironclad rule about snapping the binders, little things he had, and yet you respected him and you loved him. For a teacher to get it across, have the discipline, and still be loved and respected is a remarkable thing, and that was him. So it's been a joy, and I'm glad to come back.
I'll give you my 2 years' worth. I was one of those guys that got into it and then left to get a job. Never looked back. I had a lot of good experience with it. I'm Tom Tunney, part of the Tunney clan that you'll see featured in a lot of these things because the number that we had, I couldn't tell you the total number because we had my dad and my uncle both worked at Inland. And I imagine they had 8 or 9, I think, in the other family, and there was 3 of us, my brother Jim and Norma. I guess my first memory of it is that I guess my dad wanted me to get into it. Jim was already into it, I think. And went down to the Loretta on Saturday afternoon. And there was a big room there with a piano in the middle, and there was Dick Westbrook, a rather forbidding individual for me at my age, whatever it was. And he was sitting there sort of sideways on the piano bench, and I went up there and he told me to sing the scales. And I really didn't know what he was talking about. So he went through the keys a little bit, showed me the scales. Well, I got all done, and he sat there and he looked down and he shook his head, and he looked over at my dad, and I thought, well, I flunked that one. And he said, let's do it again. And, oh, that was a low spot. And so I went through it again, and I never was really clear at the time. I remember leaving there with sort of the idea that I really don't know whether I did any good or not. But I guess so. I got into the regular chorus right away, because they were short on guys, I guess. I spent 2 years at it. It was a good experience. I enjoyed it.
My name is Fred Haas, and I was in the Indian chorus from 1956 to 61. And the reason I'm here is to recall something I don't think I've ever heard here. And that is that for every concert we had to memorize all the music. You know, it was all from memory, and our concert would last over an hour. So I thought that was an amazing thing, and it was something I still sing in the church choir, and I'm able to memorize about half of the music, and most people are still reading it from the music. So it was a skill that I learned in that chorus, and I still use it. That's my.
Well, I might as well give you one story that I told my wife several times that I thought was sort of touching for me. I remember when Richard Westbrook died. Of course, it was devastating to the chorus members. And I remember the first practice with Joe Geiger. He came in and he said, "It's always been my ambition to direct the Inland Children's Chorus." And the way he said it was so, it was, I don't know, authentic it would be called today. And I think that he not only said it, but he meant it. And you could tell in every practice the love and talent that he would put into practices and so forth. So I just wanted to pass that on about, and of course, Mr. Westbrook was an amazing person. And I got an email recently from someone who said that her mother always remembered the way Mr. Westbrook bowed. And I never thought of that, but evidently he had a very dramatic and bow and so forth. So I mean, these little memories and little experiences add up to so much, and I think there's a new item on the forum that I think everyone, if you get a chance, please read it, the latest item of someone who has donated more records and in fact got it from his aunt whose husband worked at Inland Vandalia for 30 years, and his father worked a previous 20 years at Inland. And that's an amazing thing today that is almost unheard of, I would think, you know. So anyway, I just thought I'd pass those things on too. So anybody else, please.
I just want to say one thing. When we were kids, I don't know if you guys remember this, when Dick Westbrook held that baton, he had this way of bending his little finger up. Does anybody remember that? He could hold his little finger like this with the rest of his finger straight. I remember us kids all the time, we were going around, nobody could do it. We were just amazed that he could just bend that little finger like that and hold it.
He was double jointed. And
Do you remember it?
He used to regale us with flipping coins off of his knuckles because he could do that.
Blessing for me to come in and experience this collection in a different way, with interacting with all of you and getting to hear these memories. If anybody else, one last.
very short. I'm Mary Lou Westbrook Levinsky, the eldest of the 5 children of Dick and Dorothy. I don't know, I was talking with one of the members before the luncheon, and he didn't remember the little postcard that got sent out. If you missed a rehearsal, your parents received a postcard saying so-and-so was not at rehearsal on such and such a date. And the parent had to sign the card, and the child had to bring it back to the streets.
Well, I think at this time, would you like to do the photograph?
Yes.
We would like everybody to come up in front here and get a group photograph to remember this by. So we'll take a photograph together, and if you just come up here, and we'll sort of arrange it as we go.
One and a 2 and a 3. Now, nobody move. And let's see.
Is that a wrap? Hey!